Hey, welcome everyone. Pat Mitchell here with Tricktrades, and tonight we are doing a Facebook Live. We're doing a live event here. We're going to be discussing and talking about everything you want to know, need to know about trade plans, why they're important, how to develop them, how to look at daily charts. If you don't know what a daily chart is, I'll briefly describe those and I'll get you set up. So, it's been an incredible year in the market, in Tricktrades, everywhere, all around. I know a lot of people struggled with a market like this because we literally hit all-time highs on SPY, on the market, I believe 71 times. That's unheard of. It's wild. It's been a wild market. It's been a wild ride. But as I've said for years, since day one of opening Tricktrades, it does not matter what the market is doing. As long as you understand that we are day traders, number one, that's most important. We are looking for opportunities on an intraday basis to get in, get out within the first hour, hour and a half of the day. It's fine to manage your position after that, but for most part, you should be executed, meaning in a trade, in your main trade for the day, as soon as it triggers, within the first 10, 15 minutes. Now, a lot of people are really scared of basically executing the market open. How many times have you guys been told, don't trade the market open? Well, number one, anyone that says that, it's because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And you shouldn't listen to them, number two, because where the volume is market open and market close. And that market open gives you a huge advantage. Okay, now the strategy that we use at Tricktrades is heavily dependent of first directional picks, meaning whether the stock shoots up or the stock shoots down. And then opposites go from there. But when it comes to being a successful trader, any and all successful traders have a trade plan. And one of the reasons why a lot of people have problems with trade plans is the number one issue is discipline. Discipline to ride that trade plan out and work that trade plan, work that chart. It's something actually that we discussed in our momentum beta program, which we'll talk a little bit more so towards the end of this. And I would recommend sticking around for that. But what we discussed is, especially on our last live trading day, because we trade live in momentum with a small group of traders and myself, where you can see everything on screen. And we execute these trades together. And it was a beautiful example of, myself, I had to bark at a few members to get them refocused because the trade didn't instantly come in. Now, sometimes you really need to focus on these charts. You need to pay attention to understand what is unfolding in front of you. Now we're basically living in a society now that you need instant resolution, instant gratification, and that does not help you as a day trader at all. It's going to hinder you big time. You got to watch these charts. It's basically a story that's unfolding in front of you. And there's lots of little clues, little subtleties that if you pay attention and you know what you're looking at, you know what comes next. Now, I go live on screen share every morning, and I walk traders through the price action on the day. And we're looking to execute our trade plans. I usually develop about anywhere between 4 and 6 trade plans. Sometimes you might get 7, but that's way too many. It's all about focus and really narrowing things down. And then we execute those trade plans. You have to look at trade plans as your ultimate guide, your Bible on the day, where you do not waver on those. Now, what we're also going to be going over here today is not just how to develop a trade plan, but also some of the variables, because there are variables that can happen when you are trading. News comes out, market doesn't exactly trade how you were expecting it to trade. Because remember, at the end of the day, the market doesn't give a shit about you. It doesn't care about your trade plan. It doesn't even know that you exist. So you have to cater and work yourself around these trade plans and that price action. And it takes time. It's not easy, but through practice and proper mentorship, you can get it done. And it does, it becomes very easy. So referring back to that plan, that trade that we took in the momentum program, I basically called exactly what was going to happen before it happened, step by step, what it was going to do, how it was going to fall apart, where it was going to go to. And that's a huge edge. When you think about it, you hear people talking about, oh, I knew it was going to do that. I knew it was going to do this. But do they put their hard money on the line? Do they actually have the conviction to do it, to actually put money on the line? Now, I'm not talking about a couple of dollars on it. I mean, putting money at it, putting money where you can actually get a proper return, because those are the guys you should be listening to. If they're going to back their word with their money, it's because they know what the fuck they're doing, period. Right? So that's something that I teach. That's something that I really hammer and implement into all of my members. And it's something that's important. So I think where we're going to start, we'll dive into the charts here. I just wanted to do a quick little intro. Thanks everyone for coming out, by the way, as well. And let's dive into these daily charts, into the charts, and we're going to get into the lesson. Let's rock and roll. Okay, folks, so what we have here is a daily chart. Now, a quick refresher for those of you that don't know what you're looking at, and that's fine, it's okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. So each one of these bars, they're actually called candles. This is a candle chart, a candlestick chart. And what you see here is each one of these represents one full day of action. So basically 400 minutes of action from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. close. That's what you have here. Now, a daily chart is important because that's where the bulk, the vast majority of traders are watching. You have long-term investors that almost never look at a 1-minute chart. And this is a 1-minute chart. Each candle is represented by 1 minute of action. And that's what we use to day trade. But as for the daily chart, again, it's so important because everybody watches these: investors, traders, day traders, swing traders, people that are looking for 2-day holds, 3-day holds on their return. And that's it, right? Everybody watches this. And it's very important. This tells a story. Now, to untrained eyes, this looks like just a bunch of chaotic, basically a chaotic mess, and it's not. There's lots going on here. So one more thing that I'll talk about as a refresher, I'll get zoomed in to one candle. We'll talk about a green candle first. This is the open. This is where the market opens. This is where the market closes. This is low of day. And this little tit there is high of day. Okay, so that's a green candle. Now a red candle is the opposite. So this is your candle, market open, up high, market close, down low, lows and highs. Okay, so that's basically it. These are called wicks. This is called the body. So now that we've got that out of the way, what you really need to do to start implementing and developing a trade plan is know where you are on the daily chart. Okay, you have to know whereabouts you are. Are we trading at lows? Or are we trading at highs? Are we at a valley? Or are we at a peak? Okay, that's important. Now, let me tell you why. peaks and valleys are important when you are looking to develop your trade plan for the next morning session, because we look at these trade plans and we start developing in the evening. So this would be the last trading day's action. Now we're at a peak, aren't we? So would you be looking for this to instantly go higher? Or does pattern and history tell you that we will most likely have action that will do this? Now, I'm not saying it's going to zero, boys and girls, okay? That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But we should be able to get it to pull back, meaning pull back, fall more into moving averages. Moving averages are very important. But number one is peaks versus valleys. So that's where we start. That's our starting point, okay? Now, you also have to take a look at and into consideration where the peaks and valleys are. Because you can have, now I'm going to pull this over a little bit. I don't want to overload you guys with information here, but I do want to make sure that this is very clear. So you can have peaks and valleys like this. This would be a consolidation. You can see that we are just basically trading sideways in a very tight range, or you can have peaks and valleys when you are trending up, or of course, trending down, right? So if you are consolidating and you are at a peak, depending on the subtleties of the action, you could in fact develop a trade plan to go higher. Now, if you are trending down, same thing on a valley. You could get more downside. If you are trending up, which we have been, peaks are tops, valleys are lows. So once we start rounding out or we hit one of these moving averages, we would be looking for a long, meaning we would be placing our money, developing a trade plan, looking for the action to go higher. Now, these are the variables that I'm talking about. And this is where a lot of people get messed up. They get overloaded and everything else, but it's actually quite simple. You basically need to break these charts down and this action into just the simplest. Just don't overthink it. I've already noticed that there's some people in the Facebook group that have a really hard time with overthinking and overanalyzing, and that's going to get you into trouble. There's two types of people in the world, right? There's a thinker and there's a doer. Day trading needs doers, okay? Now I'm going to explain a little bit. If you're constantly just overanalyzing, number one, you'll never pull the trigger. And number two, you're going to hesitate. Number three, you're going to miss all of those opportunities. Okay, so that's important to just execute the trade. It's also very important to understand that it isn't about being right or wrong, guys. Now, I have hours and hours of mentoring live classes. Now, mentoring is a subscription level that we offer at Tricktrades that for the past 4.5 years, coming up on 5 years here, I've ran a class every single Thursday, once a week, with the exception of very few days missed, that there's literally nothing that's really repeated in those 4.5 years. That's what I'm talking about with variables and everything else. Now, to get kind of back on track here, I know I kind of strayed a little bit, but there's a lot of information to know. And in order to develop those trade plans, like I said, number one, let's start with peak versus valley. Are we in a peak or are we in a valley? So let's take a look at tomorrow's action. Now, because we've come back down to support, and I have a Facebook Live, you can dig through the Facebook group about technical analysis where I'm really discussing support and resistance, as well as my YouTube videos, or this class will literally be a 10-hour long class. But support and resistance, because we're coming back down to support, this previous breakout range, you see how it's pulling back? It passes through this resistance, pulling back to now test support. See the previous resistance, it bumps its head, bumps its head, bumps its head, bumps its head, finally breaks through. So anytime you have a breakthrough, it will pull back into that support to test it. It is all about testing and retesting, guys. And once you understand that, this stuff actually becomes really, really predictable. So what else do we have here? So we have support. What else do we have? We have moving average support. I'm going to move this level down for a sec, just so we can see this pink line. That's the 9 EMA. That is a moving average. That is also something I have multiple free video lessons on. So this action will most likely, the odds are it will pull back into the 9 EMA and you will get a reaction there. Now, it's important to understand that as day traders, we are only looking for short-term opportunities. You need to know and understand what type of trader you are. Are we investors? No, that's not why we're here. Are we swing traders? No, that's not why we're here. Are we looking to execute a short-term intraday opportunity? Yes, we are day traders. You will always, almost always, and I would say it's probably a 90% chance that at each one of these moving averages or a heavy support and resistance level, you are going to get a reaction. Now that reaction can be short-lived, or you can get massive amounts of follow through, meaning you could hit a very big trade. We've seen it happen. So that's something that we need to know. We need to know where the peaks and valleys are, where the moving averages are, if they are around and within an acceptable amount of range where you should be watching it on the day. So coming back into the charts here, if this, let's say this level is represented by the very first moving average, these other moving averages don't exist. Let's say this is the first moving average. What do you think the odds are that it's going to come from here all the way to here within that first hour and a half, 2 hours of the market session? That's probably pretty nil, right? So that we would need to be looking for other support areas to get involved with our trade, to execute our trade, right? So that's number 3. You need to start looking at the amount of distance that is basically where your support and resistance levels are. And again, if you guys are lost, it's fine. I have so many free resources out there. We can post some after to get you kind of set up. Luke will post those in the Facebook group. So be watching for new posts coming up, and you can see multiple YouTube videos or previous Facebook Lives where I really dive into support and resistance. So that's basically where we start, okay? So that's where we're starting on how to develop a trade plan. Now, the next thing where a lot of people fail is not understanding that you need, because we never know, like I said earlier, the market doesn't owe us anything. The market doesn't know that we exist, right? So you need to have a plan for both a long and a short, meaning either the market is going to come up or it is going to come down. And you need a trade plan for both of those each and every day. Now, it sounds like a lot, but I could literally develop, I could do up a watch list here. And actually, our last Facebook Live was on watch list building. but I could develop a watch list within 3 minutes with full trade plans. It doesn't take long once you know what you're looking for and know what you're doing, but that of course comes with time, experience, and skill. So we need to develop both a long and a short. Okay. So you guys following so far, or have I lost you into the ethers? Okay, that's good. Okay, so that's just the daily chart, right? That's the daily chart. We start looking, number one, we're at a peak. So we would be looking for basically a shorting opportunity, or we could simply wait for the long if you're not comfortable with going short into this 9 EMA. That's a pretty good spot. So for those of you that aren't members of Tricktrades, if you are going to be watching something tomorrow, you can watch the SPY at 472.63 for a long. Do not hesitate when it comes into that level. Execute as it's coming into that level. Accept some risk. So on SPY, maybe right now, I would give it, a max of 50-cent risk, because if it breaks any further, it's coming down to the 20, guys. Okay. So we need to know again where these moving averages are. And if that fails, it's going to come to the next and the next. And then we start getting into gaps. And that's a little more advanced for where we're going to be for this Facebook Live. And remember, we're going to be doing these Facebook Lives at least once a month. I'm going to shoot for twice a month, every month moving forward. So it's something to definitely be watching for. Now let's go into the intraday. Let's do this instead, because I got way too much garbage on that. This is how I set up my charts, by the way, for day trading. For those of you that have TC2000, I highly recommend that you set up with 4 daily charts on the side as well. These levels are not in play. They are from the previous day. So now with this 9 EMA, let's blow up SPY's chart. Let's take a look. It's actually not bad, eh? Because at the market open, it's all about that first directional pick, isn't it? So if we had a level, which we don't, but I'm going to mark one here, this will be our trade plan. So, oops, sorry, guys. Hold on. I'll get back into the charts for you. Sorry about that. Okay, now you guys can see it. So this is SPY. This is basically a level to go long, right? So this is the 9 EMA. And then this is just an arbitrary, we'll pretend that this is a resistance level because we don't have any. I didn't mark any. It's fine. We could take a quick look. Oops. Actually, that was a pretty good guess, wasn't it? So we've got high of this range, right? So we've got high of this range. I can tweak that down a little bit. We've got some nice resistance. It's yesterday's highs as well. We've got a nice little channel to work with, don't we? We have 2 areas to potentially take it short and 1 area to go long into. So let's head back into the 1-minute chart where this is what you guys would be looking at in the morning. So it's a very simple trade plan, very simple. Actually, I really like this trade plan coming into the morning session. So again, if you're not a member, definitely write these levels down because it does look pretty good. So let's say the market is going to open up here. Obviously, there's going to be pre-market trading and this can change. But as it stands right now, let's pretend that this is, in fact, pre-market trading. Market's about to open up. It is 9:29 and 59 seconds. Market opens up. Now it just depends on what it does. This is how easy this shit is, guys. So what directional pick will the market take? Well, what happens if it starts shooting up? You're simply patient and you wait for this. As it comes into that level, you execute the short. And what happens if the market starts shooting down? You wait for this level and you execute the long coming into this level. Doesn't matter whether it takes 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes coming into this level. And that's basically it, guys. This is what I'm saying. Now, there are a lot of subtleties here. There's a lot of subtleties and a lot more to know than just this. But it's really not difficult. It's not overly difficult at all, actually. You just have to understand how the action moves. And if you take a look here at SPY, right? One sec, let me just erase this. I'm going to show you just how right this is. And I know I said earlier, it doesn't matter about being right or wrong. It's not about that. But what did the market do at the market open, guys? What did it do? It shot straight up. Now I know that this isn't a level, but we're watching it anyways, okay? So what did it do? Its first directional pick was up. Once it tops out, what did it do? It then proceeded to come down. And if you can't make money from there to there, there to there, you're lost. Even on this first pull in here, you're making money. There's potentially thousands of dollars on the line right here, guys, easily. Now, just starting out, there's hundreds on the line, definitely. Now, you can take a look. Maybe for some of you, you're just coming into the Tricktrades Facebook group and you don't know me from a hole in the ground. You don't trust me. That's fine. I understand it. I get it. Guys, I've been there, right? There's a lot of pieces of shit out there that just want to take your money. But this is the beauty of this strategy. It is fully dependent on what the market does as soon as the market opens. Whether it comes and shoots straight up, the odds are in your favor. If your first directional pick is up and it squeezes up like that, you're going to get a reversal within 10, 15 minutes. And you will get an opportunity coming flying into resistance to make money on the way back down. And if first directional pick on the way down, it sells off first and it comes into support, you're going to get a reaction and it's going to bounce off that support area and come up. This is exactly how, what I just showed you here is exactly how we trade every single day. And like I said, I know that there's a lot of you that, you don't know me. You have no idea what my backstory is. You don't know how long I've been trading. You don't even know if I'm legit or not. But again, as I always say, you don't need to take my word for it. When we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members that execute these trades and see this shit being done day in and day out, I mean, I don't control what they say. I don't control them. So developing trade plans, kind of to like wrap up this little segment about trade plans. And obviously there is way more to it than just that. It's not just placing random levels on the daily chart and then executing into the level. There is more to it. I'm not trying to sell you that there isn't more to it at all. There is. There's way more to it. There's a lot of subtleties, variables, and this and that. The one thing that maybe I will talk about is, before I kind of wrap this up, I do want to give you guys just a nice little takeaway from this, and we will talk about variables quickly, okay? So there are a lot of variables. There's literally probably a million different outcomes that you need to be aware of in the market when it comes to trading the markets, okay? But for the most part, each and every day, the action is the same. It doesn't matter about news, catalyst, and this and that. The market trades the way the market trades. You can go back and you can take a look at these charts and study these charts, and every single day it does the same bloody thing. Go ahead and take a look. Pull back the 1 minute chart. Either the market opens up and it pops, and then you'll get that pullback. It might continue back north, but on that pullback, you will make money. And like I said, there's hundreds, if not thousands. And even for me, there's tens of thousands on the line every time I get that trade. And it does become easy. But when it comes to variables, we can trade sideways. We can consolidate. We can take a quick dip and then a run, right? So the best thing I can tell you folks is your first true directional pick. Wait for that level it's coming into. Support and resistance, a lot of people, and I know I've said this 1,000 times, that's really basic stuff, support and resistance. That's day trading and trading in general 101. That's as simple as it gets. But where people fail is they don't fully understand what is actually behind those basics, the fundamentals of trading, support and resistance. I make a living off of straight up technicals, support and resistance. That's all I use. It's just support and resistance. I trust myself. I take that trade. But again, there are variables. Now, we also have a couple other strategies that we use for day trading. One is called trend formation. And that's super important. And that's a way to capture a trade that doesn't quite come into the level, but it's still a short, and you can work it back into that support. Okay, so there are variables, but the best piece of probably the best piece of advice that I could give any new trader just learning or starting out, if it doesn't touch your price, your level, don't trade it. Don't touch it. Do not take mid-range trades. Okay, don't do it. Even if it pulls back really nice into the VWAP, people love to talk about the VWAP. And the VWAP was that orange dashed line indicator that's on my charts. People love saying that they trade the VWAP, but 99.9999% of them don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to the VWAP. Okay, there's a lot of fakes and a lot of bullshit that comes along with that. So your best bet is just simply wait for the levels. Now, we have a member, Jake, that he's been tracking level trades with our stop out strategy, which is our risk strategy that we call standard risk. And I believe it's 85 or 87% of the trades that he's taken has worked. And that's how consistent this is. You don't need anything else, folks. You need nothing more. You don't need any crazy fancy indicators. You don't need any of that shit. Just levels, just support and resistance. Why? You may be asking why. Because that's what the smart money uses. Now, smart money, which is institutions, hedge funds, banks, all of that, there's not necessarily, it's not like in billions where you see a bunch of people behind the trade desk and you think they're actually clicking buttons. They're basically monitoring the algorithm. Okay, yes, they do place some trades by hand, but it's mainly algorithms. A human being still has to design that algorithm, guys, and it still needs to make sense. So they are buying support and resistance, period. They will not buy a breakout and they will not short a breakdown. There's dumb money tactics. You see all of these knuckleheaded services out there that literally buy breakouts and short breakdowns. If you see that or you are a part of that service, you need to get out. I don't care if you don't want to join my service. That's not what this little saying is about. I don't care. But get the hell out of that service. Full stop. They don't know what the hell they're doing and you're going to blow up. So I think for right now, guys, I know that that was very basic introduction into trade plans, but if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I'm more than happy to answer it. So we'll open this up to some questions. So Maria is asking, does it work for another index? Now, what though? Because yes, this is universal. It works for futures, it works for options, it works for equity, it works for Forex. Forex, stay the fuck away from Forex. There are way too many moving parts and moving pieces. Stay away from that. Yes, it would work for cryptocurrency. Actually, Andy uses this on cryptocurrency and he has done extremely well. So if anyone has any questions, I'll just give it like a minute here, and so hang tight, folks. So Greg is basically saying he would love to watch, you know, the markets or day trading, but doesn't know how to do so. So let's just go into these charts here for a quick sec. So these charts here is a charting software called TC2000. If maybe Luke could put in the link for that. So you need access to live data as well. TC2000 is fairly inexpensive for what it is. They are hands down the best charting platform out there. I'm a big fan of TC2000. I've been using TC2000 literally since day one of my trading career. They've been around for probably 30 years at this point. They're phenomenal. Their charts are a work of art. They're beautiful. And it is, I believe, $30 a month plus live data, which is 14 or 15 bucks. So it's like 45 bucks. You're not going to really find anything better, cheaper. You won't. So for $45 a month, you'll have access to these charts and live data where you can watch. And keep in mind, guys, at the beginning of my trading career, I never traded. I didn't trade. I didn't trade paper money. I didn't trade real money. I literally sat back and just watched the action and just tried to understand it, tried to figure it out. And I owe 100% of where I am sitting right now in fucking literal paradise because of that. Because I didn't rush it. I was patient. I wanted to understand what I was getting into and try and make sense of it. So I don't think I see too many more questions. You know, feel free for the Facebook group members. Feel free to ask any questions in that room. Just make sure that there are clear questions that we can kind of understand. If you don't know the terminology, that's fine. Just try and write it out the best way you can, and we'll figure it out. We've all been there, right? Like each and every one of us started somewhere. So 2022 is going to be a big year. Now, I typed this in, and most of you weren't in yet, but I said 2022 is going to trade very, very differently than what we have seen over the past probably 3 to 5 years. You could set your fucking watch to it that's what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying it's going to sell off, and I'm not saying it's going to go up. That's not what we're doing. We're not predicting the movements of markets here. That's kind of a losing game. But what I am saying, it is going to trade very differently. And one of the bonuses of what I just showed you about always having that trade plan for both up or down, it does not matter what the market is going to do. It could trade sideways, it could go straight up, it could sell off at alarming speeds, and it doesn't matter because each and every day you have a trade plan to either go short or to go long, okay? Now, one question that I get all the time, just because it just popped into my head, is the PDT, the pattern day trader rule, where you need $25,000 in your account in order to trade, to day trade. You don't. What you need to do is stop being so afraid of options trading, because that's what we trade at Tricktrades. Now, don't get freaked out here. We have, you could trade equity, so stocks, or options the exact same way we trade each and every day. It's the same trade plans, it's the same execution, it's the same stop out, it's the same strategy, it's the same everything. Now, before, if you don't know what options trading is, do not, whatever you do, I repeat, do not go and Google it, and do not YouTube how to day trade options. Don't do it. Your eyes are going to roll in the back of your head and you're going to be super confused. We do not trade options the way the rest of the world trades options. Okay. We developed something that is very unique to Tricktrades. And before I came up with it, literally nobody traded options like this. Nobody. Okay. It's since been heavily ripped off and used, but no one before Tricktrades traded it the way that we trade it. Okay. And it's extremely simple. You get massive amounts of returns in a very short period of time. You have very limited risk, easy peasy. And you get a cash account, not a margin account, cash account. Your funds will clear by the next morning. So now before we wrap this up, guys, I want to take a quick few minutes here discussing the Tricktrades Momentum Program. Now, I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to release some notes about it and talk about it, and there will be way more details to come. But basically what the Tricktrades Momentum Program is it is a course. Now, I hate underselling it, calling it a course, because it is way more than that. This is, period, full stop, the definitive day trading course. And I know you get told that a lot, and I'm sure you've even bought other courses that were just complete dog shit that didn't teach you anything. This 100%, you have my word on this. It is different. It is different in a lot of ways. Number one, it includes live trading, where you can see walking through, we set up our trade plans in the morning, market goes live, we're trading live, and it's all recorded. You can see each separate lesson that you have in those modules. You can see then a fully implemented live day trade, and it's not glitz and glamour. These aren't live day trades where I'm only picking the winners or the huge runners or any of that. It's not like that. That's not reality. What I wanted to put together, and I wanted to develop this for years and years, and this just happened to be the perfect time, was develop a day trading course that is real. It is real. The action is real. It's not sugar-coated. So I put the Momentum members through hard situations, putting them into trades that didn't necessarily work out the greatest. And then we figured that puzzle out live in real time. I get them to work through that problem. These are problems that everybody has as day traders, where they don't know how to work themselves out of a rut or a trade that hasn't confirmed yet. It's still trading sideways and they don't know whether to get out or stay in. What do I do? We go through all of that. I teach patience and discipline, how to execute. It's the whole nine. This is something that I absolutely can put my word on the line and say it has never been done before. Nobody else out there in the educational space has the balls to put something like this together. And we did it. So round one is just completed. I'm going to be opening up round two. Now, round two is going to include live day trading with me. You will be sitting right beside me via screen share, where you see everything. We are going to execute these trades together. I'm going to put you in these situations where you're going to basically be forced to work it out, but you're not going to be alone. You're going to have me right by your side, taking the exact same trade with the exact same size, working through a sizing protocol on how to size up, how to make money, where to pull profit. What do you do if the trade doesn't work? Do you stop out? Do we keep going? Do we add? What do we do? I'm going to direct you. I'm going to guide you, literally holding your fucking hand is what I'm going to do. So that is going to be opened up, I believe, the second week of January, maybe third week, depending. What I want is the action to get back to normal. I need all of the institutional money to get back into the market. So by second week, we should be good to go. Now, after this last round, everything will be recorded. And it's going to be something that, again, it will absolutely accelerate your growth as a trader. And if you're interested in that, pay attention in the Facebook group as well as the Tricktrades chat room for members. There's going to be a hard release date. And like I said, I'd be betting more so on the middle of January, and we're going to rock and roll. It is roughly a 4 to 6 week course. And it's not something that you just get all of the material and then you fill your boots and you overload yourself. It is timed. So you have time to retain the information, and whatever lessons are on deck, that's what you're going to be going over on the day when we're trading live. Like I said, this is something that it's absolutely unbelievable, the amount of growth that you're going to get. Even that last day trade, the last live trading trade that we took with the beta members while we were developing this program, I bet you they shaved off a solid year of their trading career. And that's just not my words. You can literally ask them, and I'm not paying them to give me any type of fluff reviews, right? So they'll give you the God's honest truth on that one. And it's something that, again, I wanted to develop for years. And I think the time is now to release it and get it out there. And it really is something that if you're able to swing it, you have that extra money put aside for your education. That's it. That's the ticket right there. Because simply put, it's not going to be for everyone. It won't be. This is a very intense course where you are trading live with one of the best day traders, retail day traders in the market, period. So it's a hell of an opportunity for you guys. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a while. Okay, guys, are there any questions here? Yeah, the Trick Trade sale is actually still going on until the 3rd. Yeah, I would recommend Momentum for new traders, because we're going to be going over a sizing protocol that's going to take you literally from 0 shares or contracts and then slowly ramp you up in the time of the course. And it'll all be safe. You'll be doing it right with me. I'm going to tell you to hold. I'm going to tell you to get out if we need to get out. That's literally holding your hand in these trades. Pricing, no, pricing really hasn't been set yet. It's something that I've got to really go over, because I do want this to be available for as many people as possible. But you also have to remember and take into consideration that you are going to be trading right alongside with me. right? So that does come at a cost because I need to dip out of the main trading room, and it's something that needs to be worth it for myself as well. You also need to take into consideration for those 6 to 8 weeks, I'm going to be basically trading size that I haven't traded in years. It's a massive hit for me just in order to bring this. So, I mean, there's a lot of missed opportunity costs for myself. So, I mean, at the same time, it's got to be worth it for myself. So if I had to guess, it's going to be anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000 for the course, for the live trading. And yeah, that's roughly where it's going to be. It's going to be anywhere in between that. Hard set has not been set. So that will be released here. And again, like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. But this is the cost of tuition to learn from basically Ivy League level day trading education. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate you guys coming out. Happy New Year to you guys. You know, for people that are just in the Facebook group, what are you waiting for? Sign up to Tricktrades. We have 2 subscriptions. We have guidance and we have mentoring. Both give you full access to me, full access to the strategy, everything. Mentoring is just really where we take a deep dive into subtleties every week. There's a video lesson library for both, but the mentoring live classes, I mean, it's next level stuff. You can go check that out. The link's in chat right now. And I'd love to see you guys in, because it simply is life changing, and I will change your fucking life, period. So, okay, guys, have a great evening. I'm going to go have some dinner. Great chat. Adios, guys.